are the most valuable natural resources of a country and must be used with the greatest care to avoid wastage and decay. Wood, being a product of nature, does have natural defects like knots, and unless properly treated, it is subject to decay by fungal and insect attack, which can result in large wastage of precious wood. The most important characteristic of wood, affecting its properties and all aspects of its use, is its moisture content. Felled timber is nothing but dead vegetation and needs to be suitably protected and processed for use. Fresh green timber may contain as much as 200% moisture by weight, depending upon the species. A plant cell can be thought of as a cuboid with cell walls enclosing life matter in a space called cell cavity. Moisture in timber is considered in two forms: free water in cell cavity and the hygroscopic moisture in cell walls. As wood dries, the fresh water is the first to go, and this does not cause any shrinkage. A theoretical condition where there is no free water in the cell cavity but the walls are saturated with water is known as fiber saturation point. Drying below this point removes the hygroscopic moisture, causing shrinkage. Shrinkage can be considered in three principal directions of a log: longitudinal, tangential, and radial. Wood does not shrink uniformly, and different species show wide variations. In the longitudinal direction, there is practically no shrinkage. In the tangential direction, along the circumference, shrinkage is maximum, between 5 to 15%. In the radial direction, shrinkage can be between 3 to 5%. Moisture is the most important consideration in timber utilization as it affects greatly its strength and durability. Controlled reduction in moisture content and protecting the timber from excessive humid atmosphere is a key issue in timber usage. Seasoning is the process of reducing moisture content of timber to a suitable level under controlled conditions. In hot and dry climates, timber is kept submerged underwater in log ponds to prevent excessive drying. This is sometimes wrongly named water seasoning. This is not a seasoning process as no reduction in moisture content results. Three environmental factors control the seasoning process. First, the temperature of surrounding air. Higher the temperature, higher is the rate of drying. Second, circulation of air. Greater the circulation, larger is the rate of drying. Third, relative humidity of air. Higher the relative humidity, less is the drying. In a suitable environment, external layers of wood dry, resulting in reduced vapor pressure in these layers. This draws out moisture from the interior, having higher vapor pressure. The basic principle of seasoning is the building up of this vapor pressure gradient and controlling it at a suitable level. Depending upon their seasoning behavior, timbers can be classified as highly refractory like sal, laurel, etc., slow and difficult to season without surface and end crack. Moderately refractory like sissu, teak, etc., easy to season with protection. Non-refractory like cheer, deodar, etc. can be seasoned in open air and sun. For air seasoning, timber is stacked suitably to ensure air circulation around each piece. Different types of sheds are used for this depending upon the species. Air seasoning is a slow process and may take from 3 to 6 months. Test samples are included in the stack to check moisture content. Moisture content can be checked fast using moisture meters. For faster seasoning of large quantities of timber, kilns are used. Solar-powered kilns are also in the process of development. A progressive kiln is a long chamber into which green timber stacked on trolleys is admitted at one end, moves through the chamber slowly and comes out as dried timber at the other end. The drying conditions in the chamber are the mildest at the inlet and become progressively severe at the outlet end. Steam is normally used to heat the air and water sprays for controlling humidity. The airflow is from outlet end to inlet end. The progressive kiln is suitable for large quantities of timber of the same species. A compartment kiln, on the other hand, is a closed chamber into which the timber is loaded and remains stationary. The drying conditions are varied over a period of time suitably. Timber pieces are stacked on a prepared floor. Spacer sticks are used to ensure space for air circulation between horizontal layers and also vertically. When the kiln is fully loaded, kiln door is closed. In the beginning, drying conditions are mild with low temperatures and high humidity. As the seasoning progresses, drying conditions become more and more severe. Steam is used for heating and fans are used for controlling circulation. Wood or furnace oil is used as fuel. Moisture is checked at intervals with test samples loaded in the kiln. At the end of seasoning, seasoned timber is taken out and stacked for dispatch. Seasoning restricts movement in timber, provides freedom from fungal attack, reduces transportation costs, facilitates preservation and application of finishes. Preservation is the process of applying toxic substances to wood to ensure safety against fungal and insect attack. Logs and cut sections are given a coating, particularly at the ends, for temporary protection against end splitting. For long-term protection, different toxic chemicals are impregnated into the timber. There are 4 types of preservative. Oil type preservative like creosote, organic solvent type like copper naphthenate, Water-soluble, leachable preservatives like zinc chloride, water-soluble fixed preservatives like copper arsenic compositions. Preservative application is done in many ways. Timber should be adequately dried by air seasoning or kiln seasoning. Surface application is done by brushing, but this does not give sufficient absorption. Soaking is another method whereby timber, fully or partly, is submerged in preservative solution for a sufficient period of time. This provides better absorption but is not adequate for many uses. In the hot and cold process, the timber is kept submerged in the preservative solution and heated to maintain a temperature of about 90 degrees centigrade. After a suitable period of heating, it is allowed to cool. Heating removes moisture and entrapped air, resulting in a larger absorption during cooling. For round logs and bamboo, the Boshiri process is employed. The preservative is kept in a tank which is pressurized. The tank can be kept at a high level for flow by gravity. The log is connected to tank through a hose pipe. As the valve is opened, the preservative flows through the log and comes out at the other end. The process is considered complete when the concentration of the preservative coming out of the log is adequate. In large commercial applications, pressure processes are employed for speedy treatment and adequate absorption. In full cell process, the absorption is such that cell cavities are filled with preservative. In empty cell process, the cell cavities are emptied finally by applying a vacuum. The timber pieces are stacked in a pressure cylinder. The cylinder door is then closed. An initial vacuum is applied to remove entrapped air from cell cavities. The preservative is then pumped into the cylinder under pressure. The pressure is maintained until sufficient absorption is obtained. A final vacuum is applied after draining the preservative out. The cylinder door is opened and timber removed for final drying. Timber is combustible but not inflammable, particularly in large sections. Timber is made fire resistant by treating with different chemicals. A treated timber piece does not burn readily and cannot sustain fire. Different chemicals are used in pressure treatment or soaking method for making timber fire resistant. Ammonium phosphate, boric acid, zinc chloride, magnesium chloride, ammonium sulfate are commonly used. Thatched roofing materials, which are a major source of fire, can be treated similarly and will not readily burn. Paints or plasters of calcium sulfate, sodium or potassium silicate, etc. can be used for brush treatment. Preservative treatment ensures safety against fungal, termite or other insect attack. You have seen that moisture in timber has to be reduced to provide stability and protection to timber. Seasoning is a process of reducing moisture content and is done naturally by air seasoning or artificially in kilns. Preservative treatment is done to protect timber from fungal and insect attack and to make timber fire resistant. Seasoning and preservation are key processes in timber utilization.